Hey guys, you're watching Fitness Regiment, and this is another episode of Learning R. Today we'll cover special numbers. In the last episode we covered assigning variables, so that's fairly important. In terms of special numbers, there's four special numeric values. There's inf, minus inf, nan, and na. So it's important to get the capital letters right in this one. So I'm going to explain. The first two are positive and negative infinity. The second pair, however, are more complicated. Nan, which is capital N, small a, capital N, is short for not a number. That means our calculation either didn't make mathematical sense or just could not be run properly or did not perform properly. Capital N, capital A is short for not available. That represents a missing value or a problem. So let's say you have a table and you don't have a value. You can't always put 0 or just write none. You can write NA, which means not a number, or if you try to pull up some table of numbers and there's a digit missing somewhere, it'll say R will tell you NA. So this is really important to note because as you're going to see further when we're working with tables and you're trying to pull up means or medians or interquartile ranges or anything basic like that, or even if you're trying to run some more complicated analysis, sometimes R will just return NA because it thinks that NA is a value and it's trying to read it as a value. So you need to be able to tell it that NA is not a value and to exclude NA from tables. So it's important to understand it. So here we're going to be showing some results. So if our calculation is missing a value, then the results will also be missing. So for example, if we concatenate infinity plus 1, infinity minus 1, and infinity minus infinity, we will get results infinity, infinity, and nan. Nan means not a number. So we can also concatenate 1 over infinity, which is 0, infinity over 1, which is infinity, and infinity over infinity, which again is not a number. We can concatenate the square root of infinity and the sine of infinity, which will tell you, warning, nan's produced, infinity of nan. Okay, so then we can do the same with logarithms, different bases for the logarithms and such, and we'll get the results expected. We can concatenate NA, and anything with NA will tell us NA, so you can do NA plus 1, NA times 5, NA plus infinity. It doesn't matter, it's not a number. Or it's, number not available. So when an arithmetic involves NA and NaN, the answer is one of those two values. But which one of those two values is the answer is system dependent. For example, if we concatenate NA plus NA, the value is NA. NaN plus NaN is NaN. NaN plus NA is NaN, and NA plus NaN is NA. So just play around with it or check the video. I think me talking about it is just a little bit confusing right now, but if you look over it a little bit and play around with different values, again, you'll kind of understand what R is doing. So it's not too important to play around with it too much, but it's important to understand how R gives out values and answers, because you don't want to be stuck later on in a complicated table and wonder why this is NA and not NaN. So there's functions available to check these values, and so NaN and NA are neither finite nor infinite, obviously, since NaN is missing and NA is a number. So the way you do it is, for example, let's say we assign for x, we concatenate 0, infinity, minus infinity, nan, and na. And then we go is dot finite x, so is x finite? It'll tell us 0 is finite, of course, so true. Infinity is not finite, minus infinity is not finite, nan is not finite, and na is not finite. So false, 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 false. Is infinite x? It'll give us false, true, true, false, false. That's because 0 is not infinite, infinity is obviously infinite, and nan and na are not infinite. Then we can go is nan and is na, which just checks what they are. So obviously it's going to give us false except for nan. And is na. Okay, so na is nan, but nan is not na. So you can just look around with that, and that should make sense. I don't want to make this video too long because me speaking about it is super confusing. And just kind of look at what I'm doing in the video and try to figure it out yourself, or just Google it. It's pretty simple. So again, four special numbers, infinity, minus infinity, then nan, which is not a number, which means that it did not make mathematical sense, or na means not available, which is usually a missing value. So that's pretty much it, and check out the next video since we'll be finally getting into vectors. It's still a little bit boring because we're going to go through operators first. However, we are finally starting to get into the fun part of R. So thanks for watching.